All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the Outer Worlds 2 and capitalism. If that didn't attract your attention, I really don't know what will. Outer Worlds 2 and Obsidian Entertainment as a whole is a company that loves to talk about being anti-capitalism, right? It's a thing, it's a story element that has been around since the first Outer Worlds, but apparently they're going to be really pushing it in the Outer Worlds 2. Now we have an article here from Game Informer, and this particular article is an article that follows up the Yote article that we all saw was complete nonsense, right? It was meant to just basically paint Yote, aka Ghost of Antifa, in the best light that it possibly can. Well, now they're doing it with Outer Worlds 2 since that game is getting ready to release as well. It says Outer Worlds 2 and capitalism. People who have power tend to abuse the people who don't. Now, I want to remind people, okay? This is a video game that's being pushed by a major corporation that is backed by one of the biggest and the richest company in the world through capitalism. And they're trying to push this nonsense about being anti-capitalist while literally being funded by the biggest capitalistic corporation in the world. Make that make sense, right? When the Outer Worlds launched back in 2019, it features humorous but often sharp writing highlighting the pitfalls of capitalistic ideals and the way markets interact with leaders in power. The Outer Worlds 2 promises even more of that, with a new governing trio fighting for control of the colony of Arcadia and your Earth directorate hero somehow in the center of it all. So this is confirmation that Outer Worlds 2 is going to have even more social messaging than the first one did, right? And I know a lot of people weren't exactly super fans of Outer Worlds, the first one. Me, myself, I thought it was very mid. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was good. I kind of thought it was just literally right in the middle. And I have zero excitement for Outer Worlds 2. It's one of those games that I'll play eventually when it's on my backlog or whatever. But for me, I really don't care. But considering that they're promising to bring even more social messaging that we know that the current people that are working at Obsidian are not going to be able to properly portray without being over ham-fisted with it, I'm not exactly super excited to dive into this. But regardless, we're going to talk about it. With the Outer World 2 launching on October 29th, or as early as Thursday if you buy the more expensive premium edition, notice how they mentioned that? Like, hey, guys, buy the premium edition. You know you want it. We spoke to developer Obsidian Entertainment to learn more about how the team tackled its second bout with spacefaring capitalism and whether or not real life plays a role in how it crafts its messages. Oh, this is going to be good. Unfortunately, those things haven't fixed themselves. I'm shocked, creative director Leonard Boyarsky sarcastically told Game Informer when asked about capitalism's role in the Outer Worlds 2. These are kind of unfortunately timeless themes that we have to deal with, and we kind of always deal with in our games. We've always been involved in themes of power and balance, and it has to do with people having power and what they're going to do with that power. And it's generally not good for people that don't have power, whether it's the protectorate, who is full authoritarian and makes no bones about being a complete dictatorship, or it's Auntie's choice, which is trying to find this better way of spinning things so you feel like you're working for yourself, but you're still basically just helping them out. Guys, again, I want to remind you, this is a massive capitalistic corporation that is funded by Microsoft, the richest company in the world, talking about how bad capitalism is, while also trying to sell you their video game in a capitalistic society all throughout the world. Just make that make sense, right? I don't get what they're... I don't understand this, right? I can understand if you want to talk about the issues that capitalism has, but when you want to sit up here and be like, oh my God, I'm so shocked that none of this has been fixed yet, basically trying to say that capitalism doesn't work, my guy, it clearly does. Look at the company you work for. Anyway, when asked whether the Outer Worlds 2 reflects changes in capitalistic thought in the 6 years since the launch of the first game, Boyarsky says that Obsidian doesn't try to be that timely. These are universal themes, and if we time it too close to something going on in the world at a specific time, it gets very dated quickly, he adds. And again, unfortunately, the bigger themes don't seem to change all that much from recorded history to now. People who have power tend to abuse the people that don't. Though Obsidian says the real-world acquisition it went through, joining Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios had no effect on the messaging within Outer Worlds 2. Curiously, Moonman fronted Spacer's Choice and Auntie Cleo's have merged in this sequel to create Auntie's Choice. This new organization represents the merchants of the game's trio of power, which consists of the aforementioned Auntie's Choice, the Monarchy, and the Church, which is the Order of the Ascendant. Now, again, guys, the fact that they have major corporations joining together inside of their own game basically mimicking what happened to their own studio by merging with Xbox and Microsoft. I find that to be absolutely hilarious. I really do. And it goes to show that you could push this whole nonsense about being anti-capitalist. But at the end of the day, you guys partake in capitalism every single day. You don't want to do capitalism? Don't sell a game. You give it away for free. You're socialist, right? Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it away. Give it all away. If you're a communist, give it away equally to everybody. Give it all away. Let's see you do that. Why are you not doing that? Why are we not doing that? Boyowski says that the idea of this merger actually happened relatively early in the sequel's development. Two narrative designers who worked in the first game, Boyowski notes that they aren't at the company anymore, unfortunately, came up with the idea of merging Spacer's Choice and Auntie's Clio. I wonder why these people are not working for the company anymore. It was a natural way to go, he says, to put them together. It made the most sense. They were the ones out of everybody in all the corporations in the colony. They were the ones who seemed to have the most presence. Putting them together was a no-brainer. He and game director Brandon Adler teased that players will be able to have to see how Auntie's Choice handles its roles in the trio of power in the Outer Worlds 2 when it launches. Now, it says Game Informer's cover story for the Outer Worlds 2 is available to read right now if you're a subscriber. Oh, is that capitalism? Are you trying to sell your paper to people and get people to subscribe and pay you money? What irony. This is ironic that in a fucking article about anti-capitalism, you are pushing capitalism. This is like, what are we do? What are we talking about here? Why are we even? Oh my God, man. This shit blows my mind. This is amazing. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to go pay them money to read more, I suppose you can. But that's where it's at. Now, again, guys, for me personally, let me make this very clear. Outer Worlds 2, I haven't been excited for. When I first saw it, like the first trailer, I was like, oh, okay, that looks like a slight improvement. Let's see what they're cooking up with this. And then as I slowly but surely started to learn about the game, I realized that it's not actually anything that I would be remotely interested in anytime soon. You know, Obsidian Entertainment, we saw what they did with Avowed, right? And I feel like Avowed was such a massive letdown for a lot of people. You had people that were genuinely interested in Avowed. Yeah, people that were looking at it to be a Skyrim competitor. That's how big it was supposed to be. And then obviously the whole thing would happen with the art director, where he was going after Elon Musk and the pronoun nonsense and how he said, you know, can't wait to show you what else I got in store to piss you gamers off and to piss off Elon Musk and to make you guys mad. That was my mission. Mission complete. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. Notice how a lot of these developers are very quiet now. They don't really say anything anymore because of what happened with the art director and Avowed. Now they're trying to stay as quiet as possible because they're trying to minimize the backlash that they get before the game even comes out. But here's the thing, guys. Obsidian Entertainment as a company has made it very clear where they stand. They made it very clear with how their games are going to be made and the stories they're going to put into their games. Nobody's saying you can't do politics in a video game, but if you're going to do it, make it make sense and make it good for the actual world that you're crafting. You could do politics in video games and make it very interesting. You could do politics in video games and make it very fun. But what you're not doing is politics. You're doing messaging. You're doing virtue signaling. It is not fun. It is not interesting. And quite frankly, it's fucking boring. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to fall when it comes to Outer Worlds 2. I think people are going to pick up Outer Worlds 2. I don't know who who would pay full price for Outer Worlds outside of streamers. I don't know, because these games are going to go on sale almost immediately. So if you pay full price for this game, you're basically just throwing money away. Or maybe you're a massive fan of Outer Worlds, and that's okay. If you're a fan of Outer Worlds, go for it. You know, do what you got to do. But me personally, I look at this game and I think to myself, I can't see how they're going to massively improve this game from the first one. And considering that the story elements of Avowed were so lackluster, so boring, so bad, I got to imagine this studio that was working alongside the developers who made Avowed, they are going to write this game very similar. They're going to write this game just as bad. They're going to write it just as uninteresting as Avowed was. And that in and of itself is going to check me out. It can have all the nice stuff in the world. It can play just like the first one and all that great stuff, even though the first one wasn't that great. It was kind of buggy too, to be honest with you. These games are now, not only are they bad now, they're very janky. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in Avowed, it was so fucking bugged. It was ridiculous. So janky. And then the director told the players that they should expect jankiness with their game. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious right now? So again, guys, people remember Obsidian Entertainment obviously because of New Vegas, and that's fine and everything. But the people who did New Vegas, they're just not around anymore. All right, they're few and far between, and unfortunately, you kind of have to let it go. You have to realize that those developers it's people who make games, right? It's not studios. Studios don't make games. People make games, and if the people left the studio, well, the game that you're looking for is not going to be made. So you guys let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about this entire situation with anti-capitalism in a game that's being sold by a capitalistic corporation? Let me know what you think about Obsidian Entertainment in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one.